I used to measure days by the sharp ache in my leg, a metronome tapping pain into every minute I was awake. After the accident, even porch steps felt like a mountain, so I hid indoors and let my world shrink to a silent room. One wet Thursday, my doctor insisted I go out, so I limped toward the animal rescue, eager to prove I could walk farther than the hallway. The brick building smelled like damp towels and nervous hope, its long corridor of kennels echoing layered barks that bounced off cold gray cinderblock walls and rang in my ears. I passed playful puppies and quiet cats, but one stall held a silent German shepherd whose amber eyes tracked me. His ribs showed under dusty fur, and a torn ear told of fights he never chose, yet he stood proud like a weary knight guarding an empty gate. A volunteer said the dog was found tied to a post after a storm, abandoned when his family drove away, leaving him shivering in rising floodwater until rescuers arrived at dawn. She explained most visitors skipped him because big breed scars can look like warnings. I crouched, pain hitting my knee, but the shepherd stepped forward and pressed his cool nose to the bars, sending a puff of warm breath that fogged the steel like a tiny cloud. In that touch, I sensed he understood broken bodies and lonely rooms better than anyone. My heart beat louder than the ache, and for the first time in months, I thought of something other than hurting. The volunteer let me enter the stall, warning the dog still flinched at quick moves. I stepped in slowly, cane clicking a steady beat, and he wagged his tail in a shy half circle. When my hand reached his head, he leaned into the stroke, soaking up kindness like dry earth drinks rain. I stopped counting seconds of pain because I was busy counting our shared breaths in that stall that suddenly felt wider than any hospital hall. The volunteer handed me adoption papers, a thick stack that somehow felt lighter than the heaviest pill bottle waiting on my nightstand. Signing my name felt like a truce between me and the life that deserted me after the crash, a promise to restart our story. As we left, the shepherd matched my slow pace. Neither of us pretended to be stronger than we were on that fragile morning of hope. Outside, the rain had stopped, and weak sun painted the wet pavement with gold that glittered between puddles like scattered coins. A soft breeze curled around us, rustling leaves and hinting that change can begin with one careful step toward another beating heart. The first night, the shepherd paced the room like a guard without orders, nails clicking on the boards while his tail carved arcs. Every creak made him jerk, and headlights cast shadows that chased him under the table, where his ragged breaths filled the dark. Remembering my shaky start after the crash, I counted to 10, using numbers as a lullaby, and the steady rise of my voice calmed us both. He followed the rhythm like a ship seeking a lighthouse, unsure of rocks yet hopeful that in our room shore meant sleep without fear. I warmed broth for his kibble, steam curling above the bowl, and he placed a paw on my shoe in thanks warmer than the soup. After dinner, we inched down the hallway, my cane tapping while his paws added a lighter beat echoing off faded sunflower wallpaper. Each lap stretched my stiff leg and loosened the knot in his scarred shoulders, as if unseen ropes untied with every shared step. When pain stabbed, I paused. He paused too, and the silence between beats taught endurance no doctor named. Therapy taught exercises, but the dog taught resolve. Quitting would leave him puzzled mid-stride, and resolve tasted like mint. I moved a mattress so stairs could not punish my knee, and Valor curled beside me like a guardrail, turning blankets into a fort. His steady breath pushed nightmares back. Even the clock adopted his rhythm, turning darkness into a tide that rose and fell. Evening pills blur my mind, so I skipped them, and used capsules rattled in their bottle like distant hail on glass. Days flipped faster, hope oils hinges, and calendar boxes filled with scribbles about walks and tree times. Friends returned with soup and squeaky toys, surprised to find laughter where groans once lived, their smiles like sunrise. Valor greeted them gently, tail painting figure eights of welcome, proving big dogs can guard hearts without scaring guests. A neighbor asked if adoption was hard. I said the hardest part was believing I deserved kindness, the door we already hold the key to. The word stuck like a bright bookmark, reminding me to read my story with patience instead of harsh edits. By month's end, we reached the corner park, victory measured in courage, not speed. We counted birds on wires like judges at a parade. Sitting there, I felt the ache shrink below the gratitude swelling inside, my chest lighter than the cane I still carried. As sunset gilded Valor's fur, I vowed we would keep walking forward, one hopeful step at a time, the promise settling like dust at dusk. Spring colored the trees, and Valor sniffed each bud as if carefully checking nature's paint before it dried in the gentle breeze. My cane clicked lightly, each tap echoing confidence as we traced sun-speckled paths that rippled beside the lake. A jogger waved, shouting I looked faster than last week, and Valor's tail swept a proud arc through floating pollen clouds shimmering in the sun. A park therapist spotted us and invited us to a free fitness circle that met under the giant oak every Saturday at dawn. We arrived early. Valor circled the lawn sniffing clover, then lay beside yoga mats, head tilting at each inhale the instructor called. Volunteers set mini hurdles from pool noodles on cones, and I stepped over each bar without wincing, earning an impressed whistle. Valor trotted beside me, our shadows merging into one determined silhouette gliding across the grass like ink on bright paper. Kids gathered, bright jerseys fluttering, their laughter floating like balloons whenever Valor nailed a perfect sit or offered a gentle paw. One boy in a wheelchair asked to hold a leash. Valor slowed so the chair's wheels turned with ease. The boy's mother mouthed thank you, her smile warmer than the sun over silver bleachers glinting with morning dew. The coach asked us back to teach calm handling, saying survivor lessons carry more truth than any scoreboard. Evenings grew busy. I sketched charts of treat timing, leash safety, and voice cues instead of scrolling my phone. Valor oversaw the work, sometimes nudging a pencil off the desk so I would stand, stretch, and toss it. On presentation day, teens leaned forward while I explained that patience is the strongest muscle anyone can build. Valor proved it by ignoring a dropped hot dog until released, earning applause that rattled leaves and echoed across the field. Afterward, the director pinned shiny volunteer badges on us, calling us sparks of motivation, 4 paws and 1 mended, knee-lighting paths. My calendar bloomed with color dots marking workshops, cleanups, therapy visits, and story hours we vowed to attend rain or shine. Each new event stitched a bright patch onto a quilt of purpose, crowding out the last shivers of loneliness that once haunted late nights. That night, I logged 3 pages of victories before noting a single ache, a record ratio in my journal. Closing the book, I whispered goodnight to Valor, certain the dog I rescued had promoted me from patient to teacher. Midsummer rolled in with heavy heat, and Valor became my weather guide, leading me to shade before sweat stung my eyes. We changed our walks to dawn, when the air tasted like cool metal and birds were still warming up bold songs. One morning a fire truck siren wailed nearby, triggering memories from the accident that tightened my chest like rope. Before panic could lock my knees, Valor pressed against me and steered us to a bench, his steady breath louder than fear. I copied his deep inhale, slow exhale rhythm, and the roaring alarm faded into a faint echo behind the trees. That success pushed me to learn more, so I ordered a wrist monitor that flashed my heart rate and blinking numbers. Whenever the digits jumped, Valor nudged my palm until I laughed and filled my lungs like blowing up invisible balloons. We turned the drill into a game, earning him liver treats and me a new skill for taming storms inside my head. A counselor at Therapy Circle noticed my calmer posture and invited us to demonstrate during the weekly meeting. Valor sat in perfect focus while I explained that nerves are sneaky but teamwork is stronger, and applause swirled like confetti. After the talk, a teacher asked us to visit her middle school, saying kids trust paws over pamphlets when learning courage. Standing before bright faces, I told them pain can trap you indoors, yet hope can arrive wagging its tail at your door. Valor held a flawless sit-stay, thumping his tail exactly when I spoke the word hope, making the classroom burst into giggles. Several students lingered, stroking his ears and sharing secret worries about tests, bullies, and broken homes they rarely named. Each confession felt like another knot untied inside me, proving that helping others loosens ropes around your own scars first. The principal asked if Valor could become their reading buddy, visiting Tuesdays so students could practice aloud to non-judgmental ears. We agreed, and the library soon smelled of dog treats and old books, a perfume wrapping shy readers in gentle safety. Attendance rose on visit days, and teachers emailed proud reports of stronger voices and brighter faces, crediting one patient shepherd. Children gifted us crayon drawings. One showed me walking without a cane, a prophecy that sparked determination hiding in my bones. That night I practiced 5 careful steps unaided across the living room while Valor paced beside me, guarding a miracle in progress. Autumn painted the trees in blazing reds and oranges, and Valor leaped into crunchy leaf piles like a furry rocket launching joy around us. My leg felt strong enough for real trails, so we joined a weekend hiking club that welcomed anyone willing to climb with kindness. Pine-scented paths wound upward, sunbeams slipping through branches and striping the ground like golden ladders. Valor trotted ahead as scout, then circled back to check on hikers who breathed hard, his nose twitching with cheerful concern. Halfway up the steepest hill, doubt whispered I should quit, But Valor planted his paws and stared until pride overpowered pain. At the summit, wind flapped our jackets like victory flags, and the distant valley looked small, just like my old fears. A fellow hiker snapped a photo of us against the sky and later captioned it 2 warriors, 1 trail, a line that made me grin every time I reread it. The picture landed on the community board, and neighbors soon asked about starting a monthly wellness walk led by the famous shepherd. Planning meetings fill my calendar, replacing empty afternoons that once echoed with lonely TV reruns. Valor attended every session, tail sweeping the floor while humans debated safe routes and healthy snack ideas. I suggested loops wide enough for wheelchairs and strollers, and surprise flashed across faces and used to hearing my confident voice. Local shops donated water coolers after hearing our story, and a town newspaper wrote an article titled "Dog of Valor Inspires City to Move." Interviews felt surreal. Microphones were silence used to be, but whenever nerves squeezed, Valor pressed his head to my knee and steadied me. Funds raised from the walks helped the shelter build new kennels, turning drafty cages into warm rooms bright with hope. The director invited us to cut a ribbon at the grand opening, cameras flashing while volunteers cheered and puppies barked like a brass band. Tears surprised me, sliding down my cheeks as I realized healing could overflow, splashing goodness onto strangers I had never met. Valor received a star-shaped tag engraved with Guardian, but he seemed happier chasing squeaky toys tossed by freshly adopted dogs. As the sun melted behind the upgraded shelter, its windows shimmered amber, matching the calm glow in Valor's eyes. Driving home with him snoring in the back seat, I finally understood that rescuing one soul can ripple outward until a whole town stands taller. That night I framed the summit photo above my desk, a daily reminder that the climb from pain to purpose is best made step by wagging step. Winter crept back with frosty breath, glazing the windows white while Valor's thick coat became my favorite moving blanket. A blizzard knocked out the lights one Friday evening, so we nested under quilts, shared the glow of a single candle, and told stories of sunny days that felt far away. Wind rattled the roof like giant dice, yet Valor's steady heartbeat beat louder, drumming courage into the quiet house. In that hush, the phone rang. My old boss had read the newspaper story and offered me part-time work I could do at home. Fear flickered, but Valor nudged the laptop toward me, as if pressing the green button on a brand new level. I accepted, promising myself breaks for fetch sessions so joints and ideas would stay loose together. Valor kept the schedule strict, dropping a slobbery tennis ball in my lap whenever the screen timer chimed. Productivity soared, and emails praised my energy, a compliment I printed and pinned above the desk like a small medal. On an icy walk, we spotted a neighbor who had slipped, pain twisting her face while snow kept falling in stubborn sheets. Valor lay beside her to share warmth, and I called for help, shielding her with my coat until paramedics arrived. The responders said the dog's calm likely prevented shock, words that filled my chest with a glow hotter than cocoa. Local news covered the rescue, dubbing him Valor the Guardian, a title he earned with nothing more than gentle patience. The animal shelter arranged a reunion event for adopted pets, stringing fairy lights across the yard like captured constellations. Families swapped stories while tails wagged in every color, and the air smelled of popcorn, hot chocolate, and second chances. There, the director surprised us with a blue therapy dog vest, declaring Valor certified to comfort schools, hospitals, and libraries. Kids lined up to read short poems about bravery while Valor listened, blinking slowly as if memorizing each rhyme and promise. Snowflakes drifted through the lights, landing on his back like tiny silver medals awarded by the night sky itself. Driving home, I realized pain used to fill my journal. Now the pages overflowed with plans stamped by muddy paw prints in bright ink. That evening I wrote, "Hurt can freeze you, but hope moves like warm fur against cold skin," and Valor signed with a sleepy sigh. We fell asleep certain tomorrow would bring fresh tracks in the snow, guiding others toward the fire we carried inside. By spring's return, Valor and I walked with an easy sway, drawing smiles from neighbors along maple-lined lanes beneath a sky rinsed clean by warm rain. We hosted a party at the shelter, bringing bone-shaped cookies, carrot cupcakes, and a bright sign with paw prints reading "Second Chances Grow Here." Volunteers cheered, and Valor trotted in wearing his blue therapy vest like shining armor against his gold-black fur, ears high and confident. I told new adopters that rescue is a doorway you cross together, and each step past it feels warmer and braver. Valor sealed my words with a crisp sit, tail drumming applause on the sunlit floor. We visited his old kennel, freshly painted creamy yellow and lined with fleece blankets, and he sniffed every corner as if sealing it with calm breath. Outside, cherry blossoms drifted like pink snow, and Valor snapped at petals, turning them into playful confetti that swirled around our ankles. Driving home, I caught my reflection, shoulders straight, eyes bright, posture reclaimed from months of fear. The radio played a bouncy tune, and I sang every chorus without stumbling on doubt, windows down to let in lilac air. That night we started a ritual, writing one gratitude note in bold marker and pressing it to the bathroom mirror before bed. Valor's notes were paw prints stamped in kid-safe ink, each mark a loud exclamation of joy. Friends added lines of thanks, turning the glass into a mosaic that caught toothbrush light and sunrise. Soon the mirror filled, so neon squares crept down the hall like a bright trail, guiding sleepy feet toward coffee. Inspired, I began fostering dogs, trusting Valor to teach courage, soft play, and the fine art of couch naps. Our first foster, a shy beagle named Whistle, learned stairs by watching Valor's patient show and tell, tail slowly gaining wag speed. 2 weeks later, Whistle bounded upward alone, and her new family cried happy tears while Valor wagged approval like a proud mentor. Each farewell pinched my heart, yet every hello widened the healing circle begun by one soaked shepherd and one injured human. On calm evenings, Valor and I sit on the porch swing counting stars like milestones, crickets adding rhythm while fireflies blink nearby. I no longer measure days by pain. I count paw steps, tail wags, and notes that whisper, "Look how far you've come." When the porch light clicks off and night cools the rails, I thank Valor again, knowing he lent his heart until mine remembered how to beat free.